and I got a feast. I'm no comedian, this ain't a joke. I'm not the one to be playing with. I came from all the smoke.
Upstairs.
I make them sit up when I pull up with that on my records. Only strong will survive. Walking through fire, my whole life, they gotta be destined. Never sweated the pressure for 1 second. Came out the fog with the crown and the message.
Look at the Sarr.
I have arrived. You know that it's coming. You feeling the shift? You ready or not? Whoa, let's go. I'm legendary.
Well, good morning, Wiz Kids. How you doing? Welcome one and all to our Rising Stars preview show here. Myself, Wes Hall, along with Chase Hughes. We are here in the Moscone Center in San Francisco with NBA crossover. So that's going to be the activation where all the fans get to come and hang out. And we first just want to welcome you into it. Chase, how you feeling, my man?
Feeling great. I mean, I love coming to All-Star Weekend and being in this space right now. It reminds me of back in 2001 when Washington, D.C. hosted the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
And I went as a kid, and I went to one of these, and I still remember it. And that's what it's all about. And I'll tell you one thing that stuck with me. They had this activation where they had NBA All-Stars, their handprints, like Shaquille O'Neal and players like that at the time. So you could go up and see how big your hand was as a kid compared to theirs, and I'll never forget it.
Man, you're speaking about when you were a kid. Well, how about the kids we have in our roster that are all going to be participating in the Rising Stars competition? And I'm excited about it because I've had a chance to speak to them over the last day or so. And I think the recurring theme, Chase, is competitiveness. There's going to be a lot of competition between them. Are you ready for this? Are you really ready to watch Alex potentially go against Bub, potentially go against Bilal? You think that's going to be good?
Well, also, I think the new format could lend itself to competitiveness because if you win the Rising Stars Challenge, you actually get to play on Sunday night in front of a huge audience against the All-Star teams, right? There's a little mini tournament that's going on. But for the Wizards to have 3 players here, that is a franchise record. It's also just one short of the NBA record. And I think that means a lot for this organization moving forward because they're rebuilding, they're building through the draft. That means you're bringing in young players who are 18, 19 years old. It takes them time, right, to learn how to play in the NBA and then to learn how to win in the NBA. So this is a tangible sign of progress and of positive momentum that they can point to.
Thank you for the breakdown on that, Chase. You know what? I appreciate your opinion, as a lot of people appreciate my opinion on the players, but we've got some guys that played in this league, and they have some great qualified opinions on the players that are going to participate, and I'm thinking about Bub Carrington being the focus. Here's what Jason Smith had to say about Bub Carrington.
I absolutely enjoy his communication from the bench. When he's on the floor, he's being positive to his guys. He's going out there with a positive mindset. Hey, if I can trickle that down and have that effect on my teammates rather than being negative, they're going through a long season. He realizes that. But at such a young age, he's done such a good job of trying to lead his guys.
Young, trying to lead. That's what it's about. A young guy above his age, but I think it really speaks to his high basketball IQ, Chase.
Absolutely. I mean, the intangibles are something that Will Dawkins touted when they drafted Bub Carrington, and we've seen that so far, right? Not just the basketball IQ, but he's not scared, right?
No, he's not.
And you've seen that along the way. Also, the pull-up shooting, the way he could shoot off the dribble, that's been as advertised. And I think over the course of this season, he's expanded his shooting range. And you see that in the numbers, but I think the best example of that is a story that Bub Carrington told recently after the Wizards played the Hawks, where George Niang, a longtime NBA veteran, came up to him after that game and said, hey, Bub, I know you're a rookie, but the scouting report on you has already changed. And he knows that because Niang played for the Cavaliers, who the Wizards have already played a bunch of times this year. He said early on in the season, the scouting report said, hey, go under screens. This guy can't shoot from 3. We'll live with his shot from downtown, right? But he's been making those shots. And so Niang said, now the scouting report is we got to go over screens. Like, we got to try to take away this guy's 3-point shot because we know that he can make us pay for it.
It's so interesting that is the adjusted scout, because remember, going back to Summer League, what was the first shot that Bub took? It was a pull-up fast break 3, and he sunk it. But I understand. When you get guys that are in the league, typically players have one skill set that's the foundation of their game, and then as they progress, the scout changes on them. But I love the fact that people are already taking notice to what Bub brings to the table. It's not often that you get a young guy that is as poised as he is on the court, but also has that same youthful competitive fire just burning in his belly to play.
And I don't expect him to be scared to play in the Rising Stars game either.
way possible.
One interesting wrinkle about this game and the three players that the Wizards have in it is that they have very varying levels of experience in these types of games, right? Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly, they both grew up in France, and all-star games aren't really a thing in youth leagues there. And so even Alex Sarr in Australia said he didn't really have that experience. Bilal Coulibaly last year in the Rising Stars Challenge was the first time he ever played in one of those types of games, a showcase game. Bub Carrington, though, he's from the States. He's from Baltimore. He came up through the AAU ranks. He's played in a lot of these. And when I interviewed him about it after the news came out, he said, go look up what I did in those games. He said he put up some numbers. Now, these were when he was like, probably 14, 15 years old. So I couldn't really find the stats. There weren't really newspaper clippings about it. But the way he told it, he's pretty good in these types of settings.
Well, speaking of this setting and talking about the way that Bub likes to compete, here's what Bub had to say yesterday when I asked him about some friendly competition amongst he and his teammates.
All right, first time Rising Star rookie year, Bub Carrington. Give me the state of Bub right now.
Oh, I'm excited right now. I'm super ecstatic. Just to see all the people here, and I'm just trying to play Alex. I'm just keeping 100 with you. I'm trying to win this game. I hope they win their game so we can play each other.
So a little bit of competitive banter going. Was there some trash talk on the way out here?
Yes, obviously. There's nothing but trash talk this weekend. We have nothing to lose. We just out here having fun, showcasing why we're here, and giving people what they want to see.
Off the basketball court, what are you looking forward to most experiencing as a first-time player in All-Star Weekend?
I was trying to experience like San Francisco really more than All-Star Weekend as well, but San Francisco's kind of disappointing right now. But the people that are out here are obviously not disappointed. I came out here to try to build some more relationships, just to meet new people, get closer to a few players that I might not have the chance to get closer to otherwise.
I want to give a shout out to everybody back in D.C. rooting for you.
Oh, for sure. Shout out to all the people, all the fans, all the family, teammates, all that stuff. They they sent videos, they sent love. Shout out to them.
The one and only Bub Carrington. Appreciate you, brother.
Bub Carrington excited to participate in All-Star Weekend. Taking a look at Team M roster. For those who don't know, that's Team Mitch Richmond. Yes, coached by a former Wizard, who, by the way, is also a legend in the Bay. And, of course, the home team, they get to dig into their catalogs and bring out some guys who used to play back in the day. But looking at this roster, you got Bilal Coulibaly and Bub Carrington on the same team as the Thompson twins. This might be the most bounciest Rising Stars team we've seen in a while, Chase.
That's a lot of defense, too. And I love how Bub Carrington said he wants to win this game, because that means playing more basketball, right?
Yes,
if you win the Rising Stars Challenge, again, you get to go play in the All-Star game. And a lot of these guys, they could be looking at it like, well, if we lose, we get to go on vacation, we get our break, it's your first All-Star break as a rookie. But no, that's not how Bub Carrington sees it.
Bub is ready to play ball, just like we were in Brooklyn on draft night. I asked him, how you feeling right now? He's like, I'm ready to play right now. And I think that's really what it's all about. If you want to be a Wizard, if you want to catalog what a young Wizards player is, Bub Carrington embodies that. But I want to also keep this conversation going about the number 2 overall pick, and that's Alex Sarr, the big 7-foot guy from France. Of course, Chase just mentioned the fact that he and Bilal played a different style of basketball overseas. They're not used to the All-Star festivities. Now, mind you, Bilal's been here once, so he gets a second trip. But Alex, he's fired up and ready for this, too. Here's what Tony Massenberg, T-Mass, our champion, had to say about what he appreciates about Alex Sarr's game.
Even in Summer League, you saw the potential to be a difference maker on the defensive end. That's what I love about him, the fact that that's his reputation. He understands he's got to rebound and defend at a high level in order to really make an impact on this team. But he's not only doing that, meaning particularly in the shot blocking part where he leads all rookies in block shots, but he's also developed the consistency, which is what you were talking about with his jump shot. I thought his jump shot, like Drew, looked good in Summer League, but I was like, I want to get him a little closer to the basket. He can develop that later. Well, what we've seen is the jump shot has come along pretty good, and now he's been consistent with that.
Tony Massenberg's thought on our Rising Sarr. Yes, pun intended.
There you go.
Yep, had to get one in. I was kind of holding out to see if I was going to use it or not, but I ended up doing so. But your thoughts about just his road to being a rising star and how we've watched him grow and develop in just a short time.
Well, we saw the shot blocking right away. Right? If you recall, he came out of the gate with his first few games having the longest multi-block game streak since Sean Bradley in the early 90s. And offensively, we've seen, obviously the three-point shot. I think over the course of this season, we've seen him improve finishing around the rim, which is obviously really important if you're a big man. And I'm excited to see what he can do in this game tonight, because his game isn't necessarily the flashiest. Like, he's kind of all business when he's on the court, but this is a showcase game where he might be able to show a little bit more, you know, off the dribble, or, you know, he's one of the more athletic big men in the league. It really struck me at the combine, once those measurements came out, that he was both taller and could jump higher than Dwight Howard, who might be the best dunker at the big man spot that the game has ever seen. So if he gets on a fast break, or if he gets in open space, can he create a highlight reel? I think this is a good showcase for him to do that, because obviously when he's in an actual NBA game, he's doing what he needs to do to win.
You know what? You're provoking a thought, Chase. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say the thing that's going to jump off the screen first, I think Alex is going to send one into the rows. I think he's going to block somebody's shot into the first or second row, because it's not like it's a regular game where you want to keep possession and try to kickstart a break. I think Alex is just going to swat something out there and be like, see, that's the kid we get to watch every game. But, you know, that's my impression of it. Here's a chance that I had a chance to catch up with Alex yesterday and just get his thoughts on being a Rising Star participant and what it means to really be able to represent for the district.
On site in San Francisco with Alex Sarr, a Rising Star. First of all, welcome to San Francisco. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to have some fun tonight watching you guys perform. Your first thoughts about just what you're expecting to get out of this experience?
Just enjoying it with my teammates, really. It's a great experience. So really just, you know, getting a lot of new experience out of this.
Now, there's a potential that you could end up having to play against some of your current teammates if things work out right. You got anything that you're going to serve them up with?
Man, it's going to be a great game. You know, when we play them, I already know how they play, so it's going to be pretty easy.
All right, and you're also going to be participating in the skills challenge, right, too? All right, so what are you going to show the world with that?
You know, playing with my boy Zach, so hopefully having a good time and winning the thing.
All right, that's what it's all about. Alex Sarr, congratulations. Appreciate the time. Rising Star, you look good now. I see. Yeah, I like the gear. Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex Sarr yesterday, so candid. I want to take people behind the scenes as we look at the team roster. That's Tim Hardaway. By the way, for those who don't know, check out the UTEP two-step. Tim Hardaway was that dude. Anyway, Alex
Killer
Sarr.
Crossover.
Let him know, Chase. Alex Sarr, the same roster with Zachary Richachet, who was the first overall pick from this year's draft. So a lot of potential there. Anthony Black as well. Grady Dick. Like, a lot of great names and a lot of great talent that's going to be showcased. But I want to kind of tell people something that they might not have noticed. While I was talking to Alex, you notice he was looking off to the right and to the left. That's because Bilal and Bub were standing there, and as I've told you, a recurring theme amongst these young Wizards, competition, a lot of trash talking going on, which means it's going to be an entertaining game to watch, Chase.
Yeah, you know, it's been fun to watch Alex Sarr's personality come out this year, because he's a very serious guy, and there's nothing wrong with serious, right? Nope. Tim Duncan was very serious. Yep. Nikola Jokic is very serious, but from talking to people who know Alex Sarr really well, they say he's got a great personality. He's really funny, and that really kind of hit home for me when I walked into the Rockets locker room when they were in town playing the Wizards. I went up to Amen Thompson, who I knew overlapped with Alex Sarr at Overtime Elite in Atlanta. And Amen Thompson, who obviously is really becoming a star in this league, was willing to talk about him for as long as I wanted, because they're like basically best friends. And he was telling me how funny Alex Sarr is once you get to know him. He was telling me about these sort of like Nerf gun fights they would have in the dorms, and how Alex Sarr was always so funny, like chasing them down the hallway with the Nerf gun. So he's kind of a reserved, introverted guy, but got a great sense of humor.
Now, when you're thinking about what he does on the court, I don't know what I'm looking forward to most. Is it the Rising Stars game or the skills challenge? Because when you get to see a 7-footer like do skills and showcase ball handling and passing, I think that also it's hard to pick, Chase. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Rising Stars, I think he'll be able to do more and show more, but on Saturday night in the skills competition, a lot of people are going to be watching, and I just think it's cool the other big men that are in this with him. Evan Mobley, Victor Wembanyama, I mean, it really represents this sort of new class of centers, of big men in the NBA who are unicorns, right?
Yes, they are.
I feel like 20 years ago, if there was a skills competition, you would not see centers in that competition. But Alex Sarr, I think he's not only in it, he's probably going to do really well. We'll see about dribbling through the cones. That's probably going to be the toughest thing at his size. But we know he's a really good passer. That's part of it. You obviously have to shoot as well. He's got a good range. So I think there's a chance that him and Richachet show out in this.
This is just another example of the rareness that is All-Star Weekend, when you get to see guys like Alex and Zachary playing and competing together against the other NBA vets. But that's what the fans want to see. You know, it's stuff that you would never see on a normal day in the NBA. But for at least 48 hours, our dreams get to come true. We get to see the best of the best compete against each other and just let their hair down and have fun, try to block some shots, put on a good show, but more or less just really letting people know that they are the next generation. And the fact that we've got 3 of them participating on the Wizards side, tremendous accolades to the front office for putting these guys out there.
Absolutely. And real quick on Sarr and Shea, they're really good friends because they overlapped on the national team in France a few summers. And I remember at the Combine asking Alex Sarr about Bilal Coulibaly, and he said he didn't really know him very well because they did not play together previously. They've become good friends now that they're on the Wizards, but he goes back with Shea many years. So he's going to be playing with one of his good longtime friends in this competition. And that's kind of part of it that's been cool, is just seeing the team chemistry build. You know, Bub Carrington comes from a very far from where Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly grew up, but you can just tell that these guys are growing very close.
I'm enjoying it. That's 2 down, 1 to go. Matter of fact, there's one more player that we haven't discussed yet.
Turnover. Brogdon. Poole. Lob to Coulibaly. Are you kidding? Wow! Shaw.
Whatever he said.
Bilal, I told you when you got on the rim I was going to go French. Shaw, young fella.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was too high.
Clearly not.
Yeah, I told him it was a bad pass, but that's what makes it better, so I'll take it.
Bilal's extremely athletic. He's probably one of the most athletic players I'll play with. Really excited to see him go get that one.
He's back. Round 2 for Bilal Coulibaly at All-Star Weekend. C'est machin. Great call, Chris Miller. Yeah, we're putting that one in we're putting it in the Louvre, seeing a recurring French theme here, Chase. But thinking about Bilal and what we saw from him last year, right? Rising star, he had fun. But now year 2, and then this time he gets to bring back some friends to help. What do you think about it?
Well, I think he's definitely improved this year. You might not see it just by looking at the box score numbers, but the fact that they are similar to what they were last year is significant because he's got a much more significant role this year offensively. And defensively, I think where you see the difference is in the matchup numbers. You know, the NBA tracks how players shoot when they're guarded by certain players, and we saw last year him guarding a lot of the top stars around the league. This year he's having more success against them. Guys like Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jason Tatum. Bilal has done a tremendous job guarding them. And then offensively, what has really stood out to me, we saw the dunks and we heard the calls from Chris Miller. You see him leap up in the air there. We can see actually, in a way, how athletic Bilal Coulibaly is this year because the NBA, with their tracking data, introduced what's called a dunk score. They have all of these metrics on when a guy has a big dunk in terms of how high they leap, their max vertical leap, their hang time, things like that. And Bilal Coulibaly, with some of his dunks this year, some of his most memorable dunks, has recorded some of the highest vertical leaps of any players in the entire NBA this season, getting up in the air like 37, 38 inches.
Well, I need somebody to rank them just off emotions because that one that he had against Victor the other day, first of all, we had him mic'd up that night. Thank you, Bilal. I know that one meant a lot to him to be able to get a dunk on his former teammate and, of course, fellow countryman.
Yeah, it reminded me of Bilal's first summer league. I interviewed him in Las Vegas and asked him, because everyone was asking about Victor Wembanyama, have you ever dunked on the guy? Because they've been friends for a really long time, and he said that he did get him once in France in practice when they were playing for the Metropolitan 92s, and their teammates went crazy, right? But he said he didn't think it counted because it was kind of from the side.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why he didn't think it counted. So it was funny to actually see him do it in a game because whether that was a poster dunk, it's a little bit debatable. I say it counted as a poster dunk.
Is he in the picture?
Yes,
exactly. Were you defending it?
That's my criteria for a poster dunk. What does the picture look like when the guy is putting the ball through the hoop? Is the defender right next to him? Is he in the frame?
Thank you.
Yes, Victor Wembanyama was in the frame.
Well, speaking of in the frame, so was Bilal with me yesterday in our one-on-one that we caught up.
Bilal, this isn't your first time in the Rising Star. Round 2, how you feeling?
Feel good, man. Got some teammates with me now, so it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, and some of those teammates are going to be playing with you in the Rising Stars Challenge. Bub is your teammate. Y'all ready to go show the world what you can do?
For sure, man. We can't wait to play together, show our chemistry and all that. So, yeah, it's going to be great.
And you might end up playing against Alex as well. You going to shake him up a little bit too, what?
Oh, yeah, we can't wait. That's what we're trying to do, win this game to see him and beat him. So, yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Yeah, you heard him.
Competition is stiff. I love it. Shout out to the people back home. What you want to say?
Just shout out to everybody, appreciate y'all for the love and all that. See y'all soon.
My man, Bilal. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. You already know.
Saw the look on his face? You saw the look on his face. He's looking over at Alex like, yeah, I'm coming for you too. And that's what I want, Chase. I want to see these guys just have fun making memories together. But for Bilal, I want to see him continue to show the world that he is on pace. Everything that you saw from the moment he became a Washington Wizard to now is letting you know he individually is moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. And as we look at this Rising Stars game, he's got experience to sort of build off of. He's already been in that arena, that environment. So now I think he's going to probably be more comfortable as he goes into it. And we've seen some of those dunks throughout the season. Maybe he can get one in this game. And when I interviewed Bilal Coulibaly right after this news came out, what stood out to me was how proud he was of the rookies and how happy he was for them, because he went through this last year and he knows how much of a learning opportunity it is. If you recall, there was a video that went sort of viral of him working on dribble moves with Jamal Crawford, and it went viral because everyone was like, oh, he's learning from Jamal Crawford, and you didn't really know what it actually meant in that moment. But the tricks that he showed Bilal have stuck with him to this day.
He's super spongy, man.
Like Bilal said, that was actually like a real lesson for him in how to beat a player off the dribble from one of the guys who, made a career out of it, is one of the best bench scorers probably in NBA history. So I think that's a big part of this event. Just being named is really what matters the most. You're not going to really remember what a guy scores or what a guy does in this game, but for them, what lasts over time is what they can learn from other players and take from the experience, and that includes, as you mentioned, talking to Bub, asking questions to star players.
That's exactly where I was about to go. The fact that, as Bub mentioned, being able to be in a room or an arena with everybody that you want to actually have like a 5-second conversation with, you're there, and you have that chance to ask the question that you might not get to ask, in a post-game handshake and everything. It's usually different conversations. How you doing? How's the family? Well, All-Star Weekend is like, hey, man, remember when I was in your town and we played you guys? You did a thing in the third quarter. What was that? And the players are willing to say, oh, well, all I really did was draw you out and you saw it XYZ. That's what I want to see these guys take advantage of. Learning, growing in real time, but most importantly, having fun, Chase. You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, what are we doing?
Right.
But I want to pivot here real quick just to the organization overall. 3 Rising Stars participants. Don't forget Justin Champagne's in the G League Next Up game as well. What does it say to you about Monumental basketball and the fact that the Wizards and the Go-Go are well represented this year in the All-Star game and potentially can continue to do this for the next couple of years?
Well, it's a great mile marker in the moment and a sign of positive momentum, but it's also going to be something to revisit down the road, because if you look at past Rising Stars rosters, sometimes it was a great signal of more to come. And, I think this is a good example, too, what the Wizards have in the G League, because they really look at this, as you mentioned, monumental basketball, not just what they're doing at the NBA, but what they're doing in the G League. Like, these guys could, obviously, we're seeing Justin Champagnie in the NBA now. Jalen Noel's been with the team. Eric Stevenson is tearing it up in the G League. I've been told he's got a real chance to make his NBA debut sometime in the near future, whether it's this year or next year. Like, he's on track. That guy's probably going to be in the NBA someday. But it'll be interesting to revisit all of this in the future. I was looking back at, prior Rising Stars rosters. Sometimes, it didn't amount to much, but then you look back at like a Thunder team like 15 years ago. They had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka on the same Rising Stars roster. So who knows? 10 years from now, we could look back and say, wow, Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, Bub Carrington were on the same team in the same year.
Which is just letting people know that the NBA universe is extremely healthy. Whether it's here for NBA crossover with the fans being able to come, and there's going to be players here, there's going to be panel discussions, a lot of vendors and stuff, including seeing the players themselves play the game. Everybody is pouring into this, and I'm just excited about some of the festivities that we get to take advantage of. I myself are probably going to be floating around. You might see me in a hoodie or something. Who knows? Just know that I got it at the team store back there. But the most important thing is we're here to represent for the district. What are you looking forward to most this whole weekend, including Rising Stars? You don't have to give me the company answer, but seriously, what are you looking most forward to?
You know, I want to kind of see the Chase Center. I don't travel to a lot of road games. I've been to a lot of road arenas, but we know Capital One Arena is going through a renovation. Yeah. So seeing one of the newer arenas, I think it's going to be cool to kind of look into the future and see what Capital One Arena will look like someday in some respects. And, you know, it's always fun to just be at All-Star because you're around the entire league. It's kind of like Summer League or the NBA Draft Combine where it's really a league convention. Yeah. And it's not just for fans, it's for the players, it's for the media, it's for everybody who's involved in the league. And you just come together, you see people that you haven't seen in a while, so that's going to be fun.
I want to see this. I need Bub and Bilal, win your game. Alex, win your game. And then we meet. But both teams have to win their respective games, and then we get the pairing that we're looking for. And then I'm going to take my hands off the wheel after that. But I have to see that because I think that's going to be delivering for Wizards fans. And I think it's going to be fun for them, right? It's kind of like, all right, I want to get to my friends, so let me get y'all out of the way, and then we'll get to playing our game. And I think that's going to be great for them, adding another core memory, because it's not like you can't qualify for Rising Star 2 years from now. You get 2 shots at it. So the fact that they're able to do this together is going to be cool. Another thing that I'm considering thinking about is the advantage for them to really kind of reach fans that might not be available to them in D.C. How cool is it for Bilal to see some fans that might be from different organizations like the Bucks or the Lakers or the Pistons? Now those fans from different markets get a chance to meet you in person and learn more about our players.
I mean, for sure. You know, you're in a game that's on national television, right? Yeah. And moments can be created. You know, I was talking to some reporters recently, like, what do you remember from the Rising Stars game? And someone pointed out that there was a crossover that Kyrie Irving did on Dion Waiters back in the day. And I looked it up, and it was an amazing crossover. And that was when he was a rookie back, you know, what was it, 2011 when he was drafted, 2012, which is when the Rising Stars game would have been. So if Bilal throws down a big dunk, or Alex Sarr throws down a big dunk, or Bub Carrington has a great crossover like Kyrie did, we know he looks up to Kyrie Irving. It could become part of their legend, part of the story of their career, and something that people remember. And I think Wizards fans who watch it from afar, maybe some people will be in attendance, you know, take some pride in this. You know, your organization is being represented in this showcase. It's not easy to get 3 players in. As we mentioned, it's a franchise record. It's one off from the NBA record. So this is a special weekend and something that should represent positive momentum for the franchise.
Indeed, and another special moment too. I've had the chance, since I was talking to the guys yesterday, there were some moments that you didn't get a chance to see here on this stream that you will get to see in Beyond the Buzzer. And the reason I mention that is it's not just the players. Their families are here too. I talked to Bub, his mom, his grandmother, and his sister. Great conversation. Alex's brother and dad are here. Like, there's so many special moments that are happening just in the hallways when guys are having downtime in between media outlet circuits. That's where the magic is made to me, Chase, and I'm just glad that we get a chance to come out here, enjoy putting up with some little bit of rain. That's what Bub was talking about when he said he was upset with San Francisco. It was raining yesterday. He loves the people. We all have a great time. It is raining today. Dry. So now we're inside and we're going to relax. But final thoughts for you real quick before we get out of here.
Well, I hope Bub's family flew to this one, because remember, he had about 50 people on a bus going up to the Barclays Center for the draft. He rolls deep, big family guy. Love that about him. We'll see what these guys can do. I think they're all going to try to show out. Bub Carrington, maybe more than anyone. You heard it in his voice. So these guys can put on a show, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, win, 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 win. That's all we care about this weekend. As Bub said, they got nothing to lose. All roads lead to victory for them. They just have to get out there and take it under their own devices. Well, on behalf of Chase Hughes, I'm Wes Hall. This has been fun. Wizards fans, thanks for getting up, hopping on the stream with us here on MonumentalSportsNetwork.com, and of course on Monumental Plus, the app. So make sure you download and keep yourself up to date, because you're going to be helping me after the game, after the Rising Stars game. We're going to recap everything for you. So make sure you join us and hit us on social as well. Until next time, for one, for all, for the district. We'll see you next time.
And I got a feast. I'm no comedian, this ain't a joke. I'm not the one to be playing with. I came from all the smoke.
Upstairs.
I make them sit up when I pull up with that. I'm saying, on this one will survive.
Carrington for 3.